Last week, a man named Keith Porter was killed by an off-duty ICE agent, but you probably haven't heard his name. And while part of that may be because of the ICE agent being off-duty rather than on-duty with a large crowd, we also know the biggest reason why this exists. Keith Porter is a black man, and black men, black women that get killed by agents, officers, don't get the same amount of national attention. Many people online have been very angry at me and other black people for saying not to use the phrase "say her name" when it comes to Renee Good, and this is part of the reason. It has taken 7 days for the average person, and not even the average person, but for people online to find out about Keith Porter, while most people across the country know who Renee Good is within 24 hours. Within 24 hours, people have started marching for her. They have been sharing the stories of her families. They have been talking about her, sharing posts of her, memorializing her, making sure that she is known. Meanwhile, Keith Porter's family, they've been struggling to get into the news cycle. They've been struggling to have any conversation. And the same defense that ICE agents are using to justify killing Good is the same defense that they're using for justifying killing Porter. They say that he had a weapon and that he pointed it at them first, despite the fact that nobody on the scene concurred that, aside from the officer who shot him. These are the conversations that we need to be having. It's not divisive to ask you to use language that matters. It's not offensive to ask you to consider how you're speaking about an issue, because part of the reason why fascism is happening now in the United States is because certain groups of people have never had to care this much. We've been under attack as black folks for a very long time. Indigenous folks understand. Many Latinos understand. There are many groups that understand that we have been under attack for a long time, but there are many folks that have just woken up, even in the last week, that are screaming, saying that we're being divisive. But what's more divisive? Refusing to acknowledge the work of someone that came before you, of people that have been here, people that have consistently voted in favor of not having things like this happen, or people who just showed up to the fight? Who is in charge of the language? Ask yourself that, and before you get angrier at somebody for asking you not to use a phrase than you do for the fact that that phrase has to exist in the first place, take a seat and breathe, because your privilege is showing.
Have you ever really thought about how long it really takes for an African American to actually be recognized when something happens to them? Has there been a case of something bad happening to any African American around you, and at the same time, or even maybe after some time, something happens to a white person? Have you ever realized that when a white person actually faces something, the internet clogs with people talking about everything, the incident and all that happened that time? But when it comes to black people, when it comes to the black community, nobody cares about them. Nobody really thinks that they also matter. Nobody talks about what actually happened to them. This is so concerning, and this is really, really wrong, because the why people expect the black community to actually stand up for them, to help them through things, to help them through what is happening, especially right now in America, where ICE has taken over the country, choosing and determining who is really an American and who's not an American. And when these agents actually do something wrong to black people, when they hurt black people, when they kill black people, nothing is actually done. We have seen, and we are going to see, according to the videos that I have made about the Keith Porter things. And then when you compare it to Renee Good, you're going to understand that the Americans have more priorities than the black community, and they expect the black community to actually stand up for them, to help them through this, when in real sense they're just quiet when these things are happening to the black community. How is that even possible? Let's first of all watch the videos that I have compiled for us. Then I'm going to come back and give my comments about it.
Many of us finding out about the murder of Keith Porter only after the murder of Renee Good, despite the fact that he was murdered a full week before,
is exactly why say her / say his name is strictly for the black community. Keith Porter was celebrating New Year's with his family when an off-duty ICE agent took his life. New Year's. On New Year's. A lot of people are finding out only after the death of Renee Good. And there's been this whole debacle, this whole conversation from, I'm going to go ahead and say it, performative activists, performative allies, people who want to look good, who want to wear the t-shirt, who want to put up the black squares, who want to wear the blue bracelets. But they also want to jump into the same comment sections and argue with black people when black people say, hey, please don't use say her name because that's strictly for black people who have had their lives taken by bigotry. And then these same people will pretend that they don't know why when the Keith Porter situation proves why. We were always going to say Renee Good's name. We were always going to remember her. Her name will always be spoken. Her story will always be told. We didn't hear about Keith Porter until after Renee was taken from us. And that's just a small example of how these patterns keep repeating. So if you hear a black person tell you today, hey, please don't use those phrases. Those are strictly for our folks. Do yourself a favor if you don't want your allyship to look like just optics. And listen, adjust, and keep it pushing. Okay, thanks, bye.
Is that Charlie Kirk passed away, and I don't care what your political party is. I don't care what you believe in.
Bringing this video back around the corner because I want to know where all the crying and screaming videos is from Miss Renee Good. Also want to bring up Keith Porter, who was killed on New Year's Eve by an off-duty ICE agent. But no outcries, huh? No tears? I don't care what your political party is. Okay, so now it's time to speak up. We're looking around the corners. We're looking at the churches. People's lives are being taken at the hands of these government workers and people who were actually born in America. I want to see the tears. I want to see that loving heart that God gave you. I want to see it right now. Y'all don't serve the true and living God. Y'all do not. Y'all don't have a heart for God. Y'all have a heart for white men. I don't see the outcries of videos from y'all. I don't see the churches standing up and talking about how we have to love our enemies. I want to know where y'all are at. Or is this just above your pay grade? This is not, God didn't lead you to speak about this one, right? Right.
I don't know what's more aggravating at this point. Y'all sitting here in 2026 not understanding what martial law is because you need the dictator to tell you that that's what he's doing instead of looking around you and realizing that you're already in it. Or the fact that I found out that white women are out here co-opting say her name for Renee Good's murder, but y'all didn't give a damn about Keith Porter, the man that was killed by Border Patrol agent off duty at that while he was celebrating during New Year's Eve. Y'all ain't marching for him. You're marching for that white woman. And you're doing it under a hashtag that black women had to make up because our names were getting ignored when police brutality came knocking at our doors. Like, this is why we are not, this is just another reason why that we're not coming out to help y'all. We have been resting, me personally, I've been resting this whole time, but most black women decided to finally start resting after the way y'all betrayed black women yet again in this past election, allowing this dictator back in office because rigging be damned, y'all still voted the way you did. And it's the typical white supremacist BS because after you make it clear that you do not give a damn about us and don't want us in positions of power over you, you are waiting for us to save you from yourselves at our own expense. At the expense of our body, our lives, our mental and emotional labor. You just keep expecting it. You fake allies and all that, y'all keep expecting something out of us when you give us nothing in return. But it's the other side of that, because y'all be really just pissing me off because you think that now I see people saying hold the line, Minnesota, don't get violent because he'll declare martial law on you. Y'all had to close the school in Minnesota because ICE agents, after murdering Renee, went around the corner, terrorized that building, sprayed tear gas or whatever as those kids were leaving school that day. I got news for y'all, and I'm not holding y'all hand. You're already under martial law. We are already under martial law. Just like the abortion ban, we're also under. They just won't tell you that that's what it is, but that's exactly what is happening. If it walks like a duck and talks like a duck, it doesn't have to introduce itself to be a duck for you to know that it's a duck. You are under martial law right now. What difference does it make if you fight back or not? He gonna tell you that's what it is? A white woman was killed in broad day. That man said that if he was elected, he could kill someone in the middle of Times Square the same way that ICE agent murdered Renee. The same way that off-duty agent murdered Keith Porter in California. But y'all don't care about Keith.
Thank you so much, my beautiful and amazing people, for staying and watching. If you're new here, kindly remember to subscribe to our new channel, The Borderless Perspective, where we talk about it just as raw as it is, without any fear. Now, it is so concerning that Keith Porter was actually at his home, and he was not interfering with anything. And to even make it worse, he was just celebrating the new year. How long has it taken you to even know Keith Porter? How long has it taken you to even hear that name, Keith Porter? I know some of you haven't even heard the name, and I'm sure that there's a very high probability that his name wasn't said enough. But when Renee Good was actually killed by an ICE agent, what happened? Within 24 hours, all the news channels were actually talking about her death, talking about what happened, talking about what actually went down, talking about her family, comforting them, crying with them. And now the white community actually is getting mad at the fact that the black community doesn't want to use the phrase, say her name. They don't even understand where this came from, say her name. They don't understand that it was something that was brought by the black women, the black community, because they were tired of the segregation, everything that was happening to them, the brutal murders, the wrong treatments, and all that. And they actually did not care. Right now, they are all over social media saying, say her name, and they expect the black community to actually march with them, talking about say her name. It's okay. It's not like the black community actually doesn't care. They really do care. And I understand them. But at the same time, it is okay sometimes to back off from a person who doesn't want to help you during your time of need. Because if these people really meant business, if the white community actually meant business, they would come out the same when a black person is going through something, when a black person is shot, when a black person has faced it with, especially right now with these ICE agents, they would come out in numbers the same way that they are coming out for their white people, but they're not doing that. They just expect things to happen to black communities. They just ignore them. And not even black communities only, even to the brown people, anybody of color, they just expect that they are going to back off from them, but expect them to be present for them when something happens to one of them. That is not something possible. And according to me, let's first of all talk about the fact that Keith was actually murdered by an officer who was off duty, an ICE agent who was off duty. That should have been on the headlines. That should have been all over the news, but nobody actually heard about it. Nobody even knew about it. I don't know what you think about this. You can just go ahead and tell me in the comment section. Do you think that the black community is doing the wrong thing by saying, nah, we're not just going to say her name simply because you've told us to say her name? It isn't right for us. That is like us betraying us, when in real sense you're also betraying us. Or do you think that they should just come out and support whatever the white people want to be supported? And if you're new here and you really liked watching this video, kindly remember to subscribe to our channel, like and share. Don't forget to comment. And thank you so much. God bless you. Until next time, goodbye.